Hello and welcome to Smatter Effect. My name is Mark and I will be going over the second episode of The Mandalorian. This is the second episode of season 1. I will definitely be going over spoilers on this episode. On my last episode, I did not go over spoilers as much. I went over the highlights of the episode, but I didn't go over the main spoiler of the episode, which is that there is a baby Yoda, I guess. Everybody's calling him Baby Yoda because we don't know what Yoda's species is, but this is what the Mandalorian was looking for at the end of episode 1. So he's got the baby with him. So he takes the baby, and as he's walking back, he gets jumped by a couple of guys looking for, they look like Boss from Empire Strikes Back. So he takes them on, kills them, and they're trying to kill the baby. So obviously they're sending more people out to try to kill this Yoda baby. The Mandalorian takes them on, kills them, and they're walking back, and they make a camp for the night. And when they make a camp for the night, the baby Yoda gets out of like a crib, and it's like a floating crib. It's like a little egg-shaped container that holds the baby Yoda in it, and the baby Yoda's just been sitting in there the whole time. And as they get to make a camp, Baby Yoda watches as the Mandalorian tries to heal himself, tries to use some kind of, I don't know, healing tool or something. And while he's doing that, the Baby Yoda gets out of his crib, walks over, and looks like he's trying to use the Force, to help out the Mandalorian. But the Mandalorian sees him out of his crib and is like, "Hey, what are you doing?" and puts him back in the crib. They walk back. They kind of take their time with this, and he kind of walks back, going all the way back to his ship. When he gets to his ship, he sees Jawas and a giant sandcrawler, and the Jawas are taking apart his ship, or they're stripping it totally. They're taking all the weapons and everything out of it, and they're totally stripping it down. So he disintegrates quite a few of them, and they start to get away. They close up their sandcrawler and start driving away. And the Mandalorian tries to retrieve his stuff. He tries to climb on top of the sandcrawler. He eventually gets to the top, and when he gets to the top, the Jawas are on top, and the Jawas shoot him, knocking him all the way off. And he's kind of stuck at the beginning, and he has to go back to meet with the Nick Nolte-like character. Anyway, he goes back to him. He tells him, "Hey, they stripped my ship bare. They took all my weapons, everything, and now it's completely gone." And Nick Nolte's character says, "No, I will help you, but you're going to have to probably trade or bargain with these Jawas." So they go over to talk to the Jawas, and the Jawas are like, "We want your Beskar armor." And Mandalorian's like, "Nope, you can't have that." And they're like, "Well, how about the Baby Yoda?" "Nope, you can't have that. Get away from him." And so they said, "Well, what can we trade?" And so it turns out the Jawas want the egg. And they chant over and over again, "The egg, the egg." So the Mandalorian goes to this cave, looks around, and sure enough, there's a giant creature in there. And we don't know what the egg was at first, but now we know there's a big monster in there. The big monster comes out and just totally starts throwing the Mandalorian around, cracks his armor, throws him around like a rag doll. And when he's about ready to do the finishing blow on him, the baby Yoda, starts to move his hand like he's using the Force, and he actually lifts the creature off the ground. And this creature's huge, very heavy creature. Lifts him off the ground pretty easily, dangles him in the air, and about 5 feet off the ground, then drops him back down again. The creature's disoriented, and during that time, the Mandalorian stabs him in the neck, I guess, with a very short blade, and takes this big creature down. This big creature's easily bigger than a rhino. Easily way bigger than a rhino. I'd say pretty huge. And takes him down, and then he goes inside the cave, grabs the egg, walks the egg all the way back to the Jawas. The Jawas cut the egg and eat it, and they're super happy, and they give him all the stuff back, which is pretty funny because they have this little sled type trailer that they use, and they bring all his stuff back all the way to the ship. And where the Mandalorian's like, "This is going to take forever to put back together." And he's pretty well beaten up. And Nick Nolte's character helps him out. They piece it all back together, and the Mandalorian takes off. After offering him a job and after offering him money, part of the reward, and Nick Nolte's character would not take it. He's just happy that the Mandalorian brought peace to his valley by taking Baby Yoda and taking him away, so that way people won't be coming over there and trying to kill each other to try to get that Baby Yoda. Honestly, this felt like and this is kind of sad actually, because I was almost gushing in the last review that I did for the episode 1, but this one is almost like a filler episode. It felt very empty, felt very, very rushed. Even though there was plenty of places where they took their time, but it just wasn't enough to fill up a full episode. I believe this episode was only like 32 minutes long. It was very short. It's almost turning into like short, very short, like a short instead of an actual episode, like a full episode. Felt like something you would see before a Star Wars movie or something. It's very short. I don't know. That doesn't inspire a lot of confidence in me now. After I was gushing in that last episode, I was very happy with it. And this one, the special effects were same. They were very much the same. They were very rushed in some parts. Some other parts look like they really perfected it. So we have that mishmash of film quality, and we had the mishmash of TV show kind of quality. So still not sold on that. And the music was a little more prominent this time instead of being in the background. But unfortunately, I kind of wish it was in the background because it wasn't very good. The music was not very good. But the story itself, like, I don't know what they're building up to. It looks like they're really taking their time, which I guess that's what TV shows are about. But you got to put something in there that really holds your interest. And right now they're just trying to pique our interest with this Baby Yoda, which I understand, but I feel like they need to lay more out to bear. They need to, because the Mandalorian doesn't talk a lot. Nick Nolte's character doesn't talk a lot. The Jawas don't talk at all. I mean, they talk in their language, but they said very little. The Baby Yoda doesn't talk. So now we are left with a whole lot. It was almost like a silent movie. There was a little bit of action here and there, but it really felt like an empty episode. So I'm really very disappointed in this one. I would probably give this one a 5 or 6 out of 10, which is not very inspiring and it's not very confidence building, but I'm hoping they're building towards something, and I hope they're building towards something really quickly, because this is not the kind of thing that you want to build a franchise on, because this is what you're building. For me, this is what you're building the franchise on, because Star Wars itself is on life support, and you want something that's going to get everybody up and back behind you and backing you up and saying, this is good, this is what we want to see. And right now, this is not what I want to see. I want to see a lot more. Hopefully it'll get a lot better. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. Have a good day. Bye.